So rumor has it that you sold your company.
What?
That's what the streets say.
That's what the streets talking?
You sold your company. How long were you building the Main Choice?
The Main Choice.
How long were you building the company?
I created the Main Choice in 2013.
Okay.
And sold it in 2019.
6 years.
6 years.
How much revenue was the company doing when you sold it?
On the course of those 6 years, we've done over 100 million in sales.
So 6 years, you made 100 million in sales. Mm-hmm. What'd you sell it for?
I haven't disclosed that number.
No?
I haven't. This number is just floating out there, but I'm
gonna let
them float, you know.
Are you under an agreement that says you can't, or are you just like, I don't want to share?
I'm not under an agreement. I just think, when it comes to things of that magnitude, you want to be very strategic. So whatever
Detroit says, when you make that much money, you don't tell nobody.
Man, no matter what you see out there, whatever you believe, that's what you believe, and let everybody else believe it.
I really, it's important to know, right?
Okay,
only because you're giving people hope, especially myself. Mm-hmm. So if I wanted to exit for a number, I want to know what someone else that looks like me was doing when they exited to see what I could get.
Well,
Is 100 million close?
Yes.
Golly. That's insane.
Yeah, it's been a journey.
You are I guess over 6 years you grossed $100 million.
Correct.
Yes. What part of that was take home?
I would probably say we had great margins, which is a big thing when it comes to scaling the business and even selling it. What is it worth? And that's going to be part of your value. But I would say, the average company sometime, if they can say we're keeping 30%, that's good. But we were way higher than that.
Really?
Way higher than that, the way we operated. Like, I'm very lean when it comes to our team. It's a lean team, but I pay well. Let me just say that. So I make sure my people stay around. But if you know your margins, that's what's going to make your company be evaluated to where it is. So,
did you start with sale in mind?
I didn't. Actually, I thought it was crazy. Like, when someone even approached me with it, like, oh, when are you going to sell? I'm like, what? Sell? Never. Like, no. Like, that's not,
legacy.
So far from it. But I would say, the more experienced you become and the more mature you become in your business and as an entrepreneur, then you start to learn. You start to educate yourself, because it's nothing like self-education. No one is going to come and sit down and talk to you what you should and shouldn't be doing. You have to self-educate. You're not learning this stuff. I have a bachelor's degree in science, and no one is teaching me this stuff at school. So you start to learn, what is business? What does that next level look like? How do you get to $1 billion? 9 out of 10 acquisition will be involved. So when we see a lot of these people at this $1 billion mark, I guarantee you there was acquisition involved. Guarantee. I would say high 90-something%. You know what I mean? But no one talks about it. No one shares that piece. People are more concerned with those, this is what I bought, and there's a lot of.
You're saying when somebody's building a company, Rihanna, for instance, let's say she built out Fenty. You're saying this $1 billion valuation didn't come from Rihanna grinding, selling these lip glosses.
I don't even hardly want to touch on that. And I will say why. Because we as the people are very passionate about what we know, right? But there's so much that we don't know. And let me just speak general, because, I never want to, I respect everybody in any business and, all that good stuff. But at the same time, I am very passionate about the truth. But some people don't want to know the truth. Some people are comfortable with what they know. And anything outside of them frustrates them and upsets them. So you have to go back and say, before we see about evaluation, who owns what? Who truly owns what? And I think for a lot of people out there who we love and admire, they don't sit in the positions that we think they sit in. I can hope that helps a little bit.
It does. You're saying there are major, and there's a lot of people that, obviously, we're not just talking about Rihanna, but there's a lot of situations.
Right.
So behind what we see, are you saying there is someone, they don't own it?
No. A lot of people will come in as a face and they will start to kind of scale from there. And they will come in as either a face and then a small investor. But to be able to, and I'm not talking about anyone in general. We're just talking about, let's just say, celebrities.
Yeah.
When we see a lot of celebrities come into industries, fashion, beauty, and they launch, it's not them that's behind it. I don't care. And once again, you ask me how much did my company sell for. I don't care what you see online. Yeah. You know what I mean? I know the real. I've been approached by some people to help on projects. Some people are solely the face. And then as they start to scale and grow, they will get more and more. But when a whole, let's say, for instance, like the Black Lives Matter hit, and this is kind of when like a lot of people are like, oh my God, I didn't even know Courtney sold a company. It wasn't until then. But I look back at the list where they say, well, I'm supporting this company because it's Black. And I'm just like, but it's not. You know what I mean? I don't want to be the one to say it because it's not like, oh, you a hater because you sold your company and it. So I'm just like, I teach people who want to learn, all day long. But for the ones that wants to live in where they want to live in mentally, then, that's cool too.
You never really think about this kind of stuff.
You don't.
And you know what? Again, not hounding on this one situation, but no, never mind. I'm proud of everybody.
Yeah, we are. And that's the thing.
Because some stuff pop out of nowhere. You're like, where are you?
No, and it doesn't take away. It just, it's hard conversation because we love it. And even my support. You know what I mean? Like, I was never upset when I didn't get the support when I sold my company. I'm a person, I'm from Detroit. I'm down to earth. No, I didn't have the support. Like, I was almost crucified by most of the community for selling my company.
No way.
And we also, while we're here, we see a lot more in the industry, especially with females. So if I was a dude and sold, oh my God, you sold your company, that's what's up. But when you're a woman in the business and you sell, you're even more scrutinized.
Why were they scrutinizing you for selling?
Because it's like, oh, you sold out. Oh. And it's like, did I? But these people never sold in.
Oh, bro. Like, oh my God.
You know what I mean? But we don't want to, we don't want to tell those stories, but it's like, okay. But what happens though, it prevents us from learning. And that's the piece that I'm still passionate about. Again, I don't care what anybody has to say. If you want to learn, I'm going to be there to teach you. Yeah. You know what I mean? I had two people, like when I sold my company, it was either the ones that said, oh my God, why did you? And the one that said, oh my God, how did you? Mm-hmm. And I'm looking like, the only thing I should be getting asked at this point to be able to come into an industry, no loan, no line of credit, no credit cards, and had in my 30s to grow a company from the ground up and sell it in 6 years, only thing you should be asking me is, how did you do it?
How did you do it? This whole conversation is going to be on how did you do it? Oh my gosh, I am a student.
Exactly,
wow.
And I remain a student.
Yeah.
To this day.
Man, so what were your first year sales? What did you do the first year?
My first year, I did $183,000 in sales.
Incredible.
My second year, I did $2.5 million in sales.
What happened between year one and year two?
I'm hustling. I'm getting the word out, did untraditional marketing. I'm out here in these streets. I'm at malls. I'm setting up in the malls. You're going to see me back at the mall again. I'm setting up at the, whatever it takes. I'm still at home. My first 4 years, I was at home. The next year, I did $6.5 million in sales. Still at home. The next year, I want to say we did $2.5 million. Still at home.
Pre-PPP too. This before the country was flooded, the world was flooded with money.
Yeah, for sure. And this was at home. Then I said, okay, let me expand.
Hold on, I'm sorry. First year, 183,000.
183.
Second year, 2.5.
2.5.
Third year,
6.5.
6.5.
And then 12.5. 6.5 and 12.5.
Goodness gracious.
And then I went into retail.
So those last 2 years was the bulk of it.
Yeah, that was a nice chunk of change at home.
But you was building that momentum for 4 years, though.
Oh, for sure. So then when I got to retail, now I have an audience. I have people I can say, go get the product.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which made me more valuable to retailers.
What retails were you in?
I was in Walmart, Target, CVS, Rite Aid, Walgreens, Kroger's, you name it. If it's a product can be sold there, I was there.
I'm here.
Absolutely.
Let's
so introduce yourself to those that don't know.
Okay, my name is Leah Dias. I'm from Inglewood, California. I'm here in Atlanta now, and I own Hype Hair Magazine, which, if you know hair, it's been around for 33 years. It is the authority in black hair. And I also own a chain of beauty supply stores called The Girl Cave LA.
That's why, because you're lit.
Thank you.
Hype Hair Magazine for 33 years. And yes, I remember seeing it vaguely as a child.
Yeah, it's a legacy magazine. It's like if you grew up in any urban city, you saw it at your local newsstand, 7-Eleven, whatever it was. And for Black women, it was like the magazine that we referenced for our hairstyles.
Yeah.
It would come out on a Friday. You fold over the pages you want, and you take it to the hair salon on Saturday. So it's like nostalgia for Black women.
Okay, so you obviously didn't start Hype Hair Magazine.
I'm too young for that.
Right, yeah, I was about to say, 33 years, goodness gracious.
Yeah.
How did you come to acquire it?
So I actually work with the magazine, creating content with them. And then the owner was getting ready to sell it. So some people on his team said you should make a bid. And at first I was like, this is like not really my angle. But then I thought about it. I'm like, I can make it my angle.
Yeah.
So I put in a bid of all the people that put in a bid for Hype Hair. He selected mine.
And what year was this?
It's been 3 years now.
3 years?
3 years I've been the owner.
Huh.
Yep.
I'm very curious, just being in the magazine space because everything's online. What did you base your bid off of?
So Hype Hair had transitioned from print to digital. So there's an advertising base, but it's all digital ads. It's different. And so the bid was based on obviously the trademark and the nostalgia of being a legacy brand, but then also too the advertisers that have been working with Hype Hair for the last 30 years. So there is a revenue base there. And so that's what.
So, well, before you put in the bid, did you see the numbers?
Yeah.
Were they good?
No.
No, I would imagine.
No.
So was it a profitable company?
Good is relative.
Yeah, of course.
It was good for a print publication that had moved to digital because everyone else had become extinct.
Yeah, for sure.
So to be sustainable, it was good. I saw life in it.
Was it profitable? Was it breaking even?
It was profitable.
It was profitable.
Barely, but it was profitable.
Barely. Okay. Okay.
But I saw a lot of opportunities in it, and so there was a relationship with Conair, and we could talk about this now or later. But there was a royalty deal on the table.
That was a good time.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about it. So there was a royalty deal that was on the table, but hadn't been cultivated with Conair. Conair is $1 billion company.
Oh wow.
And so when I saw that, I said, I can breathe life into this relationship. So that was a lot of value for me. And over the last...
I'm sorry, don't go anywhere. When you say there was a royalty deal with Conair...
Licensing. So basically Conair would use the Hype Hair name to develop products that basically speak to black women. Because Conair, if you think about it, is not really like a black...
The name. You got to explain it to me.
Conair is like, if you go in your mama or your wife's dresser drawer or beauty drawer, they have a Conair brush, blow dryer somewhere.
Okay.
It's like the staple.
Yeah.
It is the #1 hot tool company.
I've seen the curling iron, the little clap thing.
Yes.
Okay, I've seen that.
That's a Conair
little clap,
curling iron. Yes.
Okay.
So Conair basically used the Hype Hair name to market those products to black women. And so it wasn't...
Conair is a white-owned company?
Yes.
And they wanted to use Hype Hair to create products to sell to this particular demographic.
Right.
Which is
because
smart.
Black women are very particular about the products, the tools, all of that we use. And so there needs to be an authoritative stamp that is for us.
Got it.
And Conair has the authority, but maybe not with black women. But Hype Hair does have that authoritative voice. And so with black women when it comes to hair, so they used our name, licensed products. So when I brought Hype Hair, it was on the table, but the relationship hadn't been cultivated. There were no new products. There was really nothing going on. The products had been developed like 20 years ago. They weren't in stores. You had to like call Conair and like go through this long process to even get a hold of the product.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that part was not profitable, but I saw life in it. So my life's work for the last 3 years is to revive that relationship. And now we're in 300 and something Nordstrom's racks. We're in 900 and something Burlingtons. We're online. So kind of just like revitalizing that has really been.
So Nordstrom racks, Burlington, meaning hair
tools.
Oh, so not, because when you think about that, you think of clothes, but there's always this section of
beauty tools. So we're in all the beauty sections. So we have combs, brushes, ponytail holders.
There's a business podcast, so I'm going to ask you some numbers. In the so Conair develops the product.
Correct.
Uses Hype Hair. They sell it and just send you some money back, or are they just giving you a certain amount of money to be able to use this name for whatever they want? How does that work?
It's a little bit of both. So they pay a licensing fee, a flat licensing fee to use the name, but then there's also royalties involved based upon the sales. So the more that I market, the more that I make the product attractive and the more it sells, it's like that's my skin in the game. So yeah, there's a flat fee to use the name, but then there's also a royalty that comes quarterly.
Got it. And it's really cool because the product is Hype Hair, so it's your product pretty much, and people look like, yo, I'm going to get the Hype Hair.
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha. And I guess that's a part of what you probably negotiated to get a good royalty, saying I'm going to promote it as well.
Exactly. So I have skin in the game for sure. So I'm running ads. I'm going to shoot my content into Nordstrom's rack saying this is where you can find the product. So yeah, it's a win for them. It's a win for us too. It's a good relationship.
I love it. Acquisition of Hype Hair. What all did you get?
I got the trademarks.
Okay.
I got the liabilities.
All the bills?
All the bills. I got the infrastructure.
Okay.
I got the social media handles. And I got the relationships.
Good. So did they print the magazines themselves?
No. The printing was outsourced. So we're not printing right now. Honestly, I think the way people consume content like changes so often. Yeah. And magazines are just like it's just like not a thing.
Yeah.
Like my daughter is 19, and when I told her I brought Hype Hair, she was like, what is that? So I showed her, she was like, you brought an Instagram page? Like, why did you buy Instagram? So it doesn't even resonate to like a younger audience that it's a magazine. So there's really no value in us printing the magazine right now, to be honest with you. But yeah.
Well, I would imagine, like your analytics demographic, older?
Yeah.
People who
when you say older, my age. So I'm 39. So our target is 35 to 45 women of color.
Okay. I guess as a woman, so I'm 38. I'm about to be 39, so we're the same age.
Okay, yeah.
I would imagine that if I'd have had a sister, that it would mean more to her than me because I just didn't pay attention. I was playing basketball.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, most men, it's like, okay, that's cute. You have a hair magazine. But when I tell a black woman, they're like, girl, you own Hype Hair? Like, women my age get it.
Wow.
They totally get it.
Got you. And the only revenue model the brand had was the magazine?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You don't have to answer, but
I will. I'm like an open book.
Okay, good. Okay. What was, because this is important, because now I'm actually starting to think of like some magazines that I grew up with. Or some things that I was really in love with.
Yeah.
As a child, and maybe they're kind of phasing out because they've been doing it for so long, and maybe there's a time to revitalize it. But you were working for Hype Hair. Yeah,
like shooting content for them, and like, because I had the beauty supply store, so there was like some synergy there with me working with them. So
got it. Not
like full time, but off and on.
Got it. Okay, good. So when you were looking at the balance sheets or like the P&Ls, what did you discover? Like, was it like how profitable was it? Was it just breaking even?
It wasn't super profitable. There were some months that were break even, but at the end of the year, they were in the green. So gotcha. I felt like that was
6 figures in the green.
Nah. We talking 5 figures in the green.
5 figures in the green.
And this is the thing. One of the first things. agree. It was like, when you take over a publication, you take over any business, like people are nervous because they don't know like what your agenda is. Like I had to lay off like 80% of the staff.
Really?
Yeah.
How many staff was on there when you?
It was like 14 or 15 people.
And it's probably just been people there, got the relationship with the owner, just
that's
you got a
really
job.
What it was. People working remotely, not really a lot of accountability. And it's like, how do you justify this much payroll?
Yeah.
So within like 45 days, I let go of most of the staff.
Ugh.
So it's a lot of people that probably don't like that I brought Hype Hair.
Not bad.
But I had to do what I had to do to keep the brand. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. I mean, at the rate it was going, it's probably gonna close out anyway.
For sure. And that's what I saw. Because you can't just pay people, work remotely. They don't have accountability, and people have good intentions. But the truth is, if you don't have any benchmarks for people, what do they have to?
Yeah. And there wasn't an amount that they wanted. You just had to bid on it.
Well, no, they threw out an amount. He threw out a 7-figure amount. Yeah, and I was just like, listen, listen. And we negotiated a lot down. So I brought the magazine for 6 figures, but
how much? You said you were open book. I'm just going off what you told me. I wouldn't have asked. Well, I would have asked anyway, but
I mean, I guess it doesn't matter, right?
It doesn't matter.
He started at $1 million. I got him down to 200,000.
Dang, you ain't playing.
Yeah. I mean, the truth is that I'm a Black woman. Everybody else that bid on it, we're not Black. We're not women. What were they going to do with it?
Yeah.
And that was my argument. Give it to a Black woman so it can thrive.
Yeah.
And then maybe you could come back as a consultant, right?
Ah.
So I'm still cool with the old owner. Like, we talk all the time.
What's he doing now?
He's helping me. Actually, we're like working on some projects together.
So you hire him as a consultant?
If I need to, yeah. Right now we're working on doing an actual product line, like shampoos, conditioners, and he has like a lot of insight with that.
Not backed by Conair though?
No. Okay. This is going to be independently standing.
Gotcha. You got that 200,000 back already, do you?
Yeah. I'm working on it.
That's amazing.
I'm working on it.
Yeah,
sure.
That's good. So do you have a website? I would imagine it's just continue to update. So you kept that person on staff, like continue to.
No, actually, I let that person go. And you know what? I hired my cousin. Shout out to Melissa. My cousin was a webmaster, and she's my little cousin.
Yeah.
So she's our digital director, and she took over, and she's doing an amazing job.
Good.
She has been for the last 3 years. I don't advise people to hire family, but this is like.
Yeah, special situation. It works.
It was a special situation for sure.
Good. Okay. Did you have a physical building for Hype Hair?
I did not when I purchased it, but I ended up buying a building to house everything, to house the staff, to have space for the beauty supply business, because I'm still running that in LA. And then with that, I brought in beauty people to like rent out suites in it. So it's kind of like a salon suite, but it's still like a Hype Hair office.
That's dope.
So it's a little bit of both.
Good. Dang, that's crazy. 200. This is my question before I find out what you did with the 200,000. What makes fan base different in terms of social responsibility? Because you were saying they make all this money and they don't bring it back to the hood. What makes fan base different?
Because we don't run ads, so it's not based on advertising
at all.
Based on rev share. No, it's a rev share model. Meaning you can have followers and subscribers on the exact same page, which is why when Instagram started doing subscriptions, we knew that was a big sign, because remember, I told you Apple would not let me build what I wanted to build at first. Me and Ramiro went, and this is a great, this shows you how great a CTO Ramiro is. We said, okay, I spent all this money, and Apple says, I said, we want to build an app where people can subscribe to people, but like use like the fingerprint or the face scan and then just charge. And they were like, no, you can't do that. And we were like, why? And they said, well, we have this thing called a subscription profile. That means every time you subscribe to a product like Spotify or Tidal, on the back end, we have this thing, a profile for you. They said, we're not going to let you build an app that you could have a user subscribe to 100 people, and then you want it with 100 million users, and we got to keep up with billions of subscription profiles. And I was like, we're screwed. I said, I spent all this money to do this. We ain't going to be able to do it. And Ramiro was like, no. He goes, listen to what they're saying. He goes, that means you're about to do something that hasn't been done before. He says, follow their rules. So we're not going to break them, but we're going to bend them. So the initial prototype of fan base was you could subscribe to one person. That's a profile. You could subscribe to 3 people. That's a profile. Or you could subscribe to 5 people. That's a profile. And they said, okay, you can do that. And we built that. And then we heard Instagram was doing subscriptions, and we hit Apple, and we was like, wait a minute. And they were like, oh yeah, you should reach out to subscriptions. We've had a change of heart of the way we view subscriptions.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh, word, wow.
Oh, word.
Word. Cool. But we did it. So we transitioned and so now you can subscribe to as many people as you want. Like they created SKUs, like they changed the model of subscriptions. It let you create SKUs with price points, and you can have as many, a certain number of price points and subscribe to as many people as you want to. So I was like, oh, we did that. We were the first app to do it.
So they're following you.
They have to though. But I'm not worried because it's a big world out here, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? And again, them kids are not coming to Instagram.
Yeah. I be on my fan base too, man. I get a notification from you every day because you be like, there'll be a particular topic.
Yeah.
Like, all right, Grant Cardone says this. Let's talk about it. I'm like, okay, I see what's going on around here.
So my goal for fan base is like subscription is going to change the world, right? It's going to really change the way, because it's so much money that people are making, because what social media has built their legacy off of is like fame and clout and notoriety.
100%.
That leads to revenue, right? So it's like, give an exhaustive amount of content, go viral, and then maybe become famous from that. And so much of my experience in the music industry has prepared me for tech, because nothing's more grimier than the music business. So once I got into tech, I was like, oh, this is easy. This is going to be easy. But it reminded me of the mixtape game. It's like, oh, okay, so social media is like mixtapes. You just throw out mixtapes after mixtape, and then the one song they hit, and you get famous and you might become a star.
Yeah.
That's where social media is right now. And so I was like, okay, but that is a cultural, Black culture behavior as opposed to white culture behavior.
What's the white culture?
White community puts a value on something the moment that they create it, and they charge you for it. They do. There's never, you don't see no country mixtapes, no pop mixtapes, no EDM mixtapes.
Hold on. Garth Brooks ain't made no mixtapes.
And then on top of that, when you look at platforms like Patreon, like I check them out, the majority of the creators on there are white that make the most money. And they might have started in 2016, but they're making $198,000 a month off 20,000 people. You see what I'm saying? So I tell people, do you want 1 million followers or do you want $1 million? Because I know people with 13 million followers on TikTok that are broke.
Yeah, 100%.
All it takes is 5,000 people paying you $2.50 a month, right? That gives you $12,500 a month, $150,000 a year. 50,000 people is $125,000 a month, $1.5 million a year. So imagine the average American salary is $47,000 a year. All you need is 5,000 people paying you $2.50 a month. You're making $150,000 a year, more than 97% of Americans. That's the future. And nothing's going to stop that now. Now that we're all connected through mobile devices, there's 7.5 billion people on the planet with a smartphone. Only 222 million people on Netflix. Only 616 million people on music streaming services. But 7.5 billion people being able to subscribe to another 7.5 billion people is going to obliterate the revenue that any of those platforms can make combined.
Wow.
Nothing will beat that.
So you're saying you don't run ads, but that doesn't necessarily ruin the experience. It seems like at some point fan base will run ads.
But here's the thing. If I run ads, I have to compete with you. Where's the value? As soon as I start running ads, I'm in competition with you. Okay. Why would they run ads with me? They were like, oh, I can just run ads on one of the famous people on Fanbase. There are other things that we can do. I just wanted something free that people could say, look, I can start my web series like Awkward Black Girl and take it all the way to Insecure on Fanbase. From the very beginning. So it can start out with, we had 100 subscribers. In season 2, we got 5,000 subscribers. In season 3, we got 300,000 subscribers. Now we done went and bought a little studio and we got a set and I can pay, we got cameras and everything. We done blown this thing up now. And it just keeps going. When I tell people the amount of money that's going to be made, right? And I can hypothesize, right? And show you like, The Rock has, I think it's like 360 million followers on social media, right? But that's not his fan base. Think about this. 5% of the people that follow you are your fan base. The other 95% of people that follow you passively, like a magazine at a grocery store. They're nosy or they're haters. Right? The other 5% is your fan base. Because if that was the case, every time Beyonce drop an album, she sell 200 million copies. Yeah. No, she ain't selling 200 million copies. It's like she's got the Beehive is like 14 million people worldwide. They go see your shows, buy her products and stuff like that. So The Rock has about 18,500,000 people, right? That follow him on that are his fan base of that 360, right? Yeah. So let's hypothesize real quick to say,
brother, you know these numbers. Like, give him a round of applause. You know these numbers. I'll tell you. Them stats, being smart about your business. Golly, this is impressive.
So let's hypothesize that The Rock says, I'm going to charge $14.99 a month to subscribe directly to me on Fanbase for content, me working out, stuff that I'm working on with my movies, whatever. And he takes half that revenue. Apple and Google take 30%. Right. We take 20 and give 50 to the user. That's right in line with YouTube. YouTube Shorts actually takes 55% of the revenue. You get 45. Twitch is 50-50. And TikTok pays about 2 to 4 cents per 1,000 views. Okay. So let's just say he'd make $77.50 a subscriber, right? So we'll just take that number. This is what he would make a month.
138 million.
Right. And this is what he would make a year.
1.6 billion.
And what I'm saying is, no matter what any of us do, that is about to happen. Because there's nothing. What's always so crazy about this is social media is a psychological. It's a psychological masterclass on behavior patterns, right? Because I've been studying this for years, right? And this is what I mean. Is anybody familiar with OnlyFans? Everybody familiar with OnlyFans? Okay.
No, I'm married, brother.
It doesn't matter. It's still market research.
Never heard of it.
It's still market research. But let me explain something to you. The very first time that I saw OnlyFans, I was like, yo, the strip club industry is dead. It's over. It's finished. You're telling me as a stripper that I don't have to stay up till 4 a.m. in a smoke-filled club with strange men grabbing all over my body, and I might walk out of there with $1,200 when I can sit in my house and make 1,000 times the money and never see anybody. But yet, today, women are getting up right now to get ready to go to the strip club and strip. Because it's just what they know. Yeah. But there are a few women that I know that left and did OnlyFans, and they're millionaires. They're like, oh yeah, I'm out of here. They're gone. They're making millions on OnlyFans because the world is your store. Yeah. There's nothing that stops. And and I'll just show you so you see. There's nothing that stops. There's nothing that can stop this. Let me show you what I mean by nothing's going to stop this. You see this user right here? So she has a page, right? So I want you to see how fast.
Show the camera. Show that camera right there.
I'll see if you guys can see it, but
this one right here.
Let me turn my brightness down a little bit. But let me go back. So if you see this, right, to subscribe to a user, I hit that button and then I hit this button again and then boom, a thing comes up and I subscribe to that user for $4.99 a month or whatever. That's it. That's everybody on the planet. So the ability for everybody on the planet to receive revenue that fast. So when crazy. Taylor Swift sells 2 million tickets in an hour on Ticketmaster, she can have 2 million subscribers in an hour that pay her month over month. No one's ever gone really viral. But my point is it keeps happening. And I'd be like, y'all don't get this? Like when Bad Baby said she made $50 million on OnlyFans in a year, y'all didn't just drop what y'all were doing and be like, what the hell are we doing? Yeah. What are we doing? Like, if we can do that, and she made that money, that's real money that she made. Yeah. That's more money than Cardi, Lotto, Nicki, Megan, Doja. And the first thing that I did is went to her OnlyFans to subscribe. Real talk.
How was it?
It was 160. No, listen. It was 160 pieces of content. She was in primarily bikinis and lingerie, and no video was longer than 10 seconds. Of 160 pieces of content, she made $50 million. And I had this conversation, and I'll say this to anybody that's listening right now that hears this. If you do not start monetizing your content via subscription today, 5 years from now, you're going to be out-earned by someone that is less talented than you are that simply decided to do so. It is not about the talent. It's about simply doing it. I've sat with comedians. I'm not going to name the names, but I've sat with comedians that are doing shows, $30 ticket shows in Atlanta Comedy Theater. And I show them this comedian named Tim Dillon who has a podcast. And Tim Dillon's making like $212,000 a month of like 30,000 people. And they're like, I'm funnier than Tim Dillon. Yeah, but he's bringing in $2.4 million a year and you don't even know who he is because he's doing it off subscription. You're driving city to city in a van. He's shooting comedy specials and streaming them and the audience, the money comes to him. He doesn't have to leave.
Oh my gosh. I'm launching a Patreon this month.
You shouldn't.
No?
No, you should launch a fan base.
So I'm on fan base.
No, but you should utilize, what I mean by that is, you should see, Patreon is not a social network. It's a content house. Once you go to Patreon and see your content, what else is there to do on Patreon?
Nothing.
Exactly. But people can come to subscribe to your content on Fanbase or be there for somebody else and discover you and then subscribe to you there. So it's the best of both worlds. It's the audience you bring and the audience that happens upon you.
Well, obviously, Instagram stole that from you. They have subscribers, but it's only like your stories, I suppose. Or now you could do
No, you can post.
Too. Yeah.
But again, what difference does it make if your content's not being seen by everybody? We don't suppress content. Meaning, if you have 100 million followers on Fanbase and you post a piece of content, we're putting it on 100 million people's timelines. They might not see it all at the same time. They might see it like within a week, but we're not suppressing your content to run ads. That's the advantage.
Got it. Okay. Dang, that's brilliant. What was the first inflection point? So I think we get excited. We're selling a product. People like it. We're making money. No problem. But I think in every business, there comes this point where you want to get to that next level, but there's a major roadblock in your way. What was the first big issue that maybe at some point, this is the thing that causes people to quit or get depressed and say, I don't know if this is going to work. What was that first step?
It's so funny because I think my definition of a roadblock is probably not the same as others. I know life is going to life, and I know things are going to happen, and I probably couldn't even recall, and I'm sure there's 1,001 of them. But say, for instance, okay, I'm at home. I've done all this volume I've done at home. I did have 3 products.
Deep conditioner.
I had a hair butter, then I had some vitamins, hair growth vitamins.
Gotcha.
So the hair growth vitamins really took the company to another level, because nobody really was doing hair growth vitamins like that. And there's nobody in my space that has done what I have done in the vitamin space. So when I went to retail, my first retailers now, this is where the Detroit comes in. So I went to present, and I knew at this point, you always got to kind of outthink, and you always have to think in the future. And this is just my mentality. Like, no one has to teach me this. I'm always 20 steps ahead. So if I'm presenting to them, I'm not presenting to them what I have today. I'm presenting to them my vision, right? So not knowing if they're going to buy it or not, but I'm going to give you the vision. Went in there and sold the darn vision. A vision that I didn't even have. You know what I'm saying? So, the average person would have showed them their 3 products that they've been selling.
Sure.
I showed them like a 7 collection line, and they like, we want it, we'll take it.
All of it.
I didn't even have a manufacturer. Now, granted, I was doing all these other products myself at home. Now, I had a manufacturer doing the vitamins, but I was physically making the butter and the deep conditioner at home. I didn't have the shampoo, the gel. Like, I showed them this whole line of products. Like, this is the way this is going to look. I rebranded it, like all of that. She like, I want it. I'm like, okay, I got it. So you
didn't say, well, these 4 are not
Heck
ready.
No, never, ever would I say that. Never.
Why not?
You can't ask me nothing if I got it and I no, it won't, never. The growth that I have had in this industry, it wasn't just because. You have to outthink. Any question I think you may, let me say, any area of struggle that I may have before I present, I'm going to put it in the presentation and answer that question before you even get there. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So if you're curious, can I ship on time? Let me tell you before you even ask me.
Yeah.
So I'm always going to put it out and put it ahead before we even get there. Always. Like I will see a buyer and show them something. They're like, when you got this coming? That thing is a concept. I'm like, shoot, next week?
Wow.
So you always got to outthink. You always, like, I'm always 20 steps ahead. Always.
So these other 4 products, you've got to produce it. And I would imagine you wouldn't have put it on there if you didn't have some sort of idea of how this thing is going to. No? You a gangster. Golly. I'd be like, hey, listen, Walmart. Okay,
I'm not going to front. I'm not going to front. I knew I have the ability to make some calls At the end of the day, worst case can happen is I come back to you and say I don't have it. That's the worst case. But people won't even put themselves in a position to make that happen. Yeah. And it's not about necessarily lying, because it is. I did tell them. They did know that I didn't have it because they could see what I'm selling on my online. Sure. This is what's coming. Now, when do I need it? That's the $1 million question. When do I have to get it to you?
Right.
Is the $1 million question.
That's a fact.
You see what I'm saying? Like so that's the thing. Like, I'm not going to show you all my cards. I don't have to lie. Yeah. But at the same time, I don't have to show you all of my cards. And this is how we can have, like, I launched 4 or 5 different collections exclusively in a retail store. And this has never happened before in this industry.
Oh, wow.
Never. You want this collection, go to Walmart. You want this collection, go to Target. You want this one, go to CVS. Never happened. You know why it's never happened?
Why?
Because people feel obligated that they have to tell everybody everything. And this is something I teach my team. You're not obligated to tell anybody anything. Courtney, do you have a collection for me? I do. You're not going to sell this collection to nobody else? No, I won't. But I'm going to sell this one to them.
So you'll have, let's say a collection is 5 different products. So you'll create those products for that 5. The other, then you go to CVS. That was for Target. Then you go to CVS and say, I have 5 products for you. But the 5 that they're seeing selling is what they want, no?
No, everybody wants a new and exclusive. Now, everybody can't do that. I had to prove myself to be able to do that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But no, like, I want to get, I like you so much and I appreciate this relationship so much. I want to launch something exclusive in here just for you guys. Nobody else. You sure? Just for y'all. Well, we want it for at least 6 months. You got it. 6 months. You got it, and you got it, and you got it.
So you have to think of products that you haven't already created to give to this group with the same integrity, same quality.
Sure. For sure. Same heat. I kept at least 5 or 6 collections in my pocket at all times. At any given time. I can go to a retailer and meet with one, and they're like, this is what we got. We just talking about business. And it's so funny because another thing in business, you work with a lot of distributors, right? Again, being from Detroit, I had to learn very quickly that a distributor don't work just for you. They work for everybody. Yeah. And there's some friends I have in the industry that's in my same industry, and I will talk to them and tell them how to operate. Like, I talked to one of my a friend, and I asked her, I said, well, do you go to these meetings when you sit with Walmart? She said, no, my people go. I said, I said, it's mistake number 1. She said, you go to all those meetings? I said, I have never had a meeting for Target, Walmart, CVS, anybody, and I wasn't present. Never. Because when I'm not there, you're talking about other brands. Yeah. When I'm here, the main choice is the only thing you're talking about. And this is how I was able to grow so quick and control my business.
Gotcha. If they're in the room by themselves, they talking
about,
they got.
Yes. They don't even want you to give it to the Courtney because they got 10 other clients. Yeah. Can you just get Courtney 500 doors? If I'm there, I'm getting 5,000 doors. If I'm not there, they only gave you 500. Dang, okay. I'm grateful. No. I'm not going to be in that situation.
What? Oh my gosh.
So there's so much.
This is an entrepreneurial masterclass.
Yeah,
right
I mean,
now.
like listen, my life has been a journey. It has been a journey dealing with business and scaling it and then seeing how big business work. Yeah. Because we really don't. And there's so many things that I was just like, wow, this is how business work. Like, this is a dog-eat-dog world. Never forget, I was at a meeting and I got some paperwork back. And it said, with one of my retailers, they said they're granting your new collection 800 doors. And I got a piece of paper by mistake that my team, my distributors, proposed 800 doors.
They proposed 800.
They proposed.
And they got what they proposed.
Exactly. And when I got this piece of paper, I said, why does it say 800 as proposed? Oh, no, that's just a placeholder. I said, no. Another thing I did, every retailer I dealt with, I didn't, again, this is why I told my friend, get in that room and establish that relationship yourself. I had their numbers. I had their emails. So you telling me 800, I'm going to do it professionally. But so went back, email. thank you so much for the 800 doors. I'm very appreciative. I would have loved to have more because, I'm about to make this campaign. I'm about to blow it out the water. Oh, well, you could do more than 8? For sure I can. Oh, double it.
Wow.
You got to run your business. And this is why people, I'm going to step back. When I step back is when I step back with the main choice and I stole it. That's when I step back. Either you in it or you not. And I'm not going to say you have to be in the details of everything, but people always want to step back in the areas that really move the needle.
Yeah.
They want the glitz and glam. Forget that. Like what you see on social media, I give it to you sometime. But when you see me just MIA and I ain't seen Courtney, I'm making it happen. I'm scaling. I'm grinding.
Yeah. So why these particular places, Arkansas, Tennessee, you said, right?
Pennsylvania.
In Pennsylvania. Why these particular, we can't get none in Atlanta?
Because it's like real estate anywhere you go. So if you buy something in the middle of Atlanta, the price is going to be higher versus if you go to Alabama, right? So
True.
It's just about me knowing where I could get the most bang for my buck. That's number one. Number two, I like to buy areas that's more, I say like rural areas, suburban areas, right? And I want to see whatever the market is growing. So think about 2020. A lot of people start moving out of the city. Like New York, everybody was getting out of there. Cali, everybody's getting out. They're going to Vegas. New York, they're going to Pennsylvania. A lot of people going to Florida. So I want to be where the population is growing, not where the population is going down. So a lot of people in New York, they moved to Pennsylvania. There was a 13% population increase in Pennsylvania alone in 2020. So if everybody's moving, guess what? They use a storage unit because they're moving in and out. They're relocating. So now they need my services. Arkansas was one of the top 5 cities in 2020 that people moved to. So that's really why I pick my pockets, because wherever people are moving to, that's why I want to get ahead of it.
So I'm in real estate. I have some units in Louisiana. I got a bunch in Louisiana, but my sister Terica, she lives there. She manages it. She understands real estate better than anybody that I know. So I trusted put my money in because her money's tied into it too. So we're good there. But I am afraid of investing in a project that I can't like get to.
So it's
Help
not
me with that fear, bro.
Yeah, it's not about what, it's about who, right? So I hire a management company. The management company does everything.
How do you know how to trust a management company?
This is their business here, like they get paid when I get paid. And it's not just me hiring somebody off the street. This is well-known management companies. And you think about all the big self-storage facilities, it's actually management companies that manage these facilities. It's not the actual owner. This is their job. This is their business. This is their credibility here. So
you go into the market, you go to Arkansas, and I guess the first question is, who manages specifically storage facilities?
the first thing I'm gonna do when I go to the market, I'm gonna look in a 5-mile radius. What are the facilities around the facility that I'm looking to buy? Mm-hmm. Now I'm gonna go to those facilities that I'm not looking to buy, but is around the area, and I'm gonna act like I'm a tenant. Hey, how many units do you have available? What's the rent? What are you charging? Right? I'm just picking their brain so I can know over here. If they are at full capacity, if this competitor is at full capacity, then I want to buy that facility, because where else is everybody else going? Because they're full. There's a bunch of people that is looking for a unit and they can't find nothing because that person is full, so they're gonna come over here. Mm-hmm. If you are not full and you have a lot of units available, then that's kind of shaky, right? But I'm also gonna ask them, hey, what's the management company's name? Because mostly the management.
I'm sorry. What's the sign of, okay, they're not full. They got a bunch of units and they're like, hey, no, we're wide open. How many you need?
If they wide open, that's scary, because the demand may not be there, right? The population may be low. People don't have the money. So I don't like to go in an area where the income is too low, because if your income is too low, you barely can afford your rent. What's the chance of you spending extra money to get a storage unit? I can't even afford this over here. Mm-hmm. So, those are indicators will determine whether or not I want to buy. However, back to your original question, right? When I go inside that facility, the person that's at the front office works for the management company. I'm going to have a conversation. Hey, what company you work for? What's the management company? Just casual, pick up what they saying. All right, cool. I'll call later. And now that's how I want to find out who's the primary management service in that area.
Man, smart, yo. You mad smart. Yo, so you make this big exit. And last question on this. the exit itself, I think maybe I don't know. Let me just ask. Mm-hmm. So the number, right? Let's just say the exit is $100. Mm-hmm. Is the $100, was yours like, yo, they give you the whole $100, or?
No, they don't really want to do that, especially with entrepreneurs, because at the end of the day, we can kill the business. You know what I mean? So no one wants to give you everything, because what if I just next day like, deuces, like what can you do? Yeah. You know what I mean? So you always want to do, they will always do, and especially like I say with us, because who knows? But it's always some type of process, and you get earnouts. Like this is your earnout here, this is your earnout here, type of thing. So as it kind of go on, just to make sure the transition is smooth.
But is that because they're trying to pace the success of it over a certain period of time?
Not really. They want to make sure you stay in the game, because it's easy to sell off in the ocean, to sell off on the island.
So it's not buy out. You give me my money. I'm going home. Don't call me. You still have to,
it's hard when you're an entrepreneur and they knew that it took you to grow it.
Yeah.
The last thing they're going to want to do is have you to just be withdrawn out the company like that.
I see.
You know what I mean? It can kill the business.
I see.
Yeah.
Are you still in it?
I'm in it as an investor. I am the single, and this is another thing. I'm like,
hold on, you're in it as an investor. You sold it to them. They gave you money. You gave them some back?
So this is the thing. So when I exited the company and I was getting all this heat, oh my God, you sold the company. You have to understand, I turned around and bought into the entire portfolio who purchased my company. So not only do I own the main choice, I am the single largest shareholder in the company purchased mine, which has at least 5 or 6, 7 other brands. So while everybody thought it was a sale.
Hold on.
I know.
Hold on.
So even through Oberly, do you know we sell the main choice? So people like, how? Like, how did you do? People like, how did you do it? People who know business was like, did I just send the main choice under Oberly? I said, yeah, you did. You did.
You sold, okay. The company buys it.
Yeah.
They buy the main choice.
Yeah.
Is it through the transaction you retain ownership, or you
I left money in to purchase shares into the entire portfolio.
Oh, which means the acquisition amount is unclear because we don't know how much you're going to make.
Exactly.
Come on, man. Oh, you going crazy. You a real businesswoman, for real.
The world, 1944, America becomes, before that, the dollar is an IOU, right? 1944, we signed what's called the Bretton Woods Agreement. So, I'm lying. 1944, yeah, we signed a Bretton Woods Agreement saying that gold would be backed by the dollar. The dollar would be backed by gold. America becomes the dominant player in the world. So now the dollar is the most powerful currency. Now there's what's called foreign exchanges.
I'm sorry, real quick. When we say, this is really like a history lesson for me. When they say a dollar is backed by gold, what does that mean exactly, and why did they do that?
Meaning now the dollar has a hard asset behind it. Let me give you an example. So let's say, this is gonna be good. Let's say I go to jail and my people want to pay my bond. Well, they'll say the only way we can let him out is if you have collateral. What's the collateral? A house. Mm-hmm. So now my freedom is associated with the value of the house.
Yes.
You feel me? So the dollar now becomes associated with the value of the gold.
Got it.
That gives it power.
Got it.
Without the value of the gold, is worthless.
Right. Because now you can go trade this dollar in for some gold.
So this is where we get in trouble at. So this is where stuff get real at. So now, fast forward, now the dollar in all the countries, so there's foreign banks around the world, right? Central banks around the world, foreign central banks around the world. Mm-hmm. So now they're all saying, yo, we agree that the dollar is the world currency. Okay. We agree to do business with this dollar.
Because the dollar is backed
by gold.
Yeah.
We agree. Everybody agree?
Right.
Everybody agree. Plus they got big guns over there.
And if I want to trade these dollars in, I can get some lumps of gold.
You feel
so
me?
I'll take it.
It is. So now what happens is, during that same round of 70s, so Richard Nixon is in office, America is fighting inflation. Inflation is high. But then what happens is Japan, and I won't say, Japan introduces the Hyundai, the car, and Germany introduces the Volkswagen.
Okay.
So they start selling them to America. What happens is while they selling them to America, you're now taking money and gold from America. Import, export.
Yes.
Right? But America at the time is fighting an inflation battle. So if America keep getting off all his money and his gold, because mind you, you can't print money like you can now.
Yeah.
You can only get rid of what you have in gold.
Gotcha.
You feel me?
Gotcha.
You can only get rid of, so you can't get rid of all your gold.
Yeah.
Or we broke.
Yeah.
So Richard Nixon comes in and said, hey, check this out. Got a game plan. This about to be gangster. I got something for y'all. We got to change the game up right quick. So America like, bro, what we gonna do? He said, check it. We gonna break the agreement. What agreement? We gonna break the Bretton Woods agreement. Why would we break that agreement? Well, check this out. If we keep selling to Germany and Japan, bro, we not gonna have no more gold. But if we take the dollar off the gold, then we can print as much money as we want and we can just still hold the gold.
That's actually smart.
That's why they call him Tricky Dicky. That's why they call him Tricky Dicky. Nixon said, check it. This ain't gonna work.
Yeah, so they only have a certain amount of resources.
We only got enough.
So let me ask you, when it was on the gold standard, were they trading cars for actual gold?
No, but only for the money. Mind you, I can only print as much money as I have gold.
Yes.
So even though you got the money, the value is in the gold.
Right.
You with me?
Yeah.
So if I keep doing business with you, you taking all my money and I can't keep printing money because I only got so much gold.
Right. So I would imagine that Richard Nixon was nervous that
Yes.
one day they come and cash in
They come in
on all this gold.
Because they got, mind you, the Volkswagen and it was going crazy.
Right. So all the money's going out the country.
It's going out the country.
And one day they just come back with
we don't got enough.
Right.
We don't got enough being produced in America.
Yeah.
We don't got enough. We don't got enough being produced. So we got money going out, but we got the cars coming in, but they taking the money. You with me? Because we selling it to them.
Yes.
We buying the cars. We got to get them the money.
Yeah.
So when they getting the money, in essence, they taking the gold.
Yeah, for sure.
You with me?
That makes sense.
So Nixon like, bro, hey, we gotta change something up. So Nixon says, hey, what we gonna do is we gonna print the money, but we gonna break the agreement. Because if we break the agreement, now the money ain't back to nothing.
We can just keep on praying.
And we can just print.
We rich forever.
We gonna be rich forever. But what happens in that situation is, and I say this and people get mad at me when I say it, but you put anybody in a situation where you can, just say I give you a key to the bank. And I say, you know what, Shans? You go to this bank whenever you want, bro. Bro, the preacher gonna have all kind of preaching funds for the pulpits that need to be done. The only person that's not gonna use that is Jesus Christ. Everybody else going to get some money out the bank, bro.
Yeah.
It's free.
Yeah.
So now they just print money. But that still was okay. That was all right.
Okay.
Because America then start attaching the money to all kind of other stuff.
Like?
Oil. So now America, I got a big gun. This is what Saddam Hussein and, yo, check this out. We're going to create, listen, if anybody want to trade oil, you're going to do that in American dollar.
Oh.
So we're gonna call that the petrodollar. Now, of course, I know your listeners gonna come and be like, this happened. So I'm just cutting straight to the meat.
Yeah, for sure.
I ain't saying all the other,
This might be the firest history lesson I've ever had in my entire life, bro. I don't remember nothing from history other than the Boston Tea Party, and
which was about taxes too. Which was all about taxes. The people said we not paying them taxes. Y'all tripping.
So why they throw the tea in the water?
That was a way of showing y'all, bro. We not paying them taxes, lose the tea.
Oh, because tea was valuable at that point.
We ain't paying them tax. America been on that. So what? So America says, listen to the other countries. Y'all want to trade oil? You got to trade in American money. At the time, America's still good.
Mm-hmm. I still got that big gun.
I still got a big old gun.
So bust a move.
And at the time, Russia doing its thing with the Soviet Union, so they internal chaos going on. China's trying to rebuild. So at the time, they big dog. Nobody can't. What we doing? Don't play with me.
And the fear is if you go against it, America goes to war with you.
And you don't want to go to war with them. You don't want to go to war with them.
Because we got a big gun.
Now, people will say America lost the war in Vietnam. And I won't disagree with that, but in the history books, they got America won. Am I lying?
I don't know. I don't.
The Vietnamese people, Muhammad Ali was like, I ain't going to fight no Viet Cong. Ain't no Viet Cong didn't mean nothing.
Yeah.
But in the history books, America came out on top.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
Okay.
So what happens is now we not attached to gold, but now you got to buy oil in the US dollar, which now gives America even more power because not only is it the world reserve, we got it attached to oil, but also now we can put sanctions on other countries. So a sanction is like, let's say I said, Shans, you went to Korea and we don't agree with you going over there. We're going to put $100 million sanction on you.
That a hit?
No, what happens is you got to pay a tax now. It's a penalty. But now you got to pay the penalty in American dollars. No matter what your...
Dang, bruh. What we doing? I didn't know America.
They gangsters, bro. Like people be thinking Americans be tripping over here. No, they put their footprint over the world, bro. They don't, bro. And so what happens is, bro, they been had stronghold for so long. This ain't the first time people been trying to get up from under that American dollar. Go ask Gaddafi what happened.
What happened?
They killed him.